Om Agnimile Purohitam Yajñasya Devam Ritvijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam.
Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea from Indian philosophy, something that totally challenges how we see our place in the world. It's all about these invisible moral debts we're born with. And honestly, it might just change how you look at your own life. You know, we love to celebrate the idea of being self-made, but let's ask a serious question. Is anyone truly independent? Well, in ancient Indian philosophy suggests that actually, no. Our very existence is built on countless gifts from others, from nature and from the past. So this whole idea is built around a concept called Ṛṇa. Now, the word itself is Sanskrit and it translates to debt, but it's so much deeper than just a loan. It's really about this innate moral responsibility we are all born with, this fundamental understanding that we aren't just isolated individuals, but we're deeply, deeply connected. And let's be really clear here, this has nothing to do with money. Ṛṇa isn't some financial debt you can just pay off and be done with. No, it's a profound moral obligation. A duty, which is also known as dharma, to acknowledge how interconnected we are and to actually contribute back to the world that sustains us. So how does this actually work? I mean, it sounds great in theory, right? Well, the philosophy neatly organizes these obligations into three main debts, and together they create a kind of framework for living a meaningful life. Let's break down the first one. First up is what's called Deva Ṛṇa. This is the debt we owe to the divine forces of nature, everything that sustains us. You could think of it as our ecological and cosmic debt. This idea completely reframes our relationship with the environment. And the reason for it is just common sense, right? Without the sun, the air, the water, we literally wouldn't be here. But repaying this debt isn't just about feeling thankful. It's an active process called Devayagna. And that can include anything from rituals of gratitude to what we today would call environmentalism and conservation. Okay, so next we have Rishi Ṛṇa. This one is the debt we owe to all the great thinkers, teachers, and innovators who came before us. It's our intellectual and cultural debt. Just think about it for a second. Every book you've ever read, every scientific fact you know, every piece of art that has ever moved you, none of that came from nowhere. We are standing on the shoulders of giants, inheriting this vast ocean of knowledge. And we repay this debt through Rishi Yagna, by studying, by teaching, and ideally by adding our own little drop of knowledge to that ocean for future generations. And that brings us to the third main debt, Tri-Ṛṇa. This is the debt we owe to our parents and our entire family line, our ancestors. This one, as you can imagine, is probably the most personal of the three. I mean, our ancestors gave us our physical bodies, our upbringing, our culture, our heritage. We repay this debt through something called Pitri-Yajna, and that means caring for our parents while they're with us, honoring the traditions they passed down, and remembering those who came before. It's about seeing yourself as a single link in a very long, very important chain. Okay, so we've got these three huge debts. But how do you go from just knowing about them to actually doing something? Well, the framework gives us a really clear path from idea to action. The whole process is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It all starts with just acknowledging the Ṛṇa, recognizing that the debt exists. That awareness naturally leads to yajna, which are the actions you take to repay it, like studying or conserving nature. And the whole point of these actions, the end goal, is to live a life of dharma, a life that's balanced, responsible, and in harmony with the world around you. You know, when you take a step back and look at this entire system, you realize Ṛṇa isn't just a list of rules to follow. It's a completely different way of seeing the world, a profound philosophy based on radical interconnection. And this really clashes with a lot of modern Western thought, which so often puts the individual first. This idea of the self as an isolated island, focused on personal rights and freedoms. The philosophy of Ṛṇa just flips that script. It says the self isn't isolated at all. It's a product of all its relationships. And so, the focus shifts from our rights to our responsibilities. So, at the end of the day, Ṛṇa teaches us that life is defined by our duty, not just by our desires. It's asking us to wake up and see how radically interconnected we are with everything. It's a call to find our purpose in something bigger than ourselves, which in turn helps build a more responsible and harmonious society, starting with our own families and rippling outwards. All right, so this is all fascinating ancient philosophy, but what does it mean for us right now in our busy modern lives?
It might seem a little abstract, but I think its lessons are more relevant than ever.
It really all comes down to this one beautiful thought. We are not separate. We are all deeply woven into this incredible fabric of nature, knowledge, and history. And maybe our highest purpose, our real duty, is to simply honor and take care of those connections. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. In our world, which is so focused on individualism, what would actually change for you, for our society, if we started to see our lives not just as something we own, but as a kind of gift that comes with a beautiful responsibility to give back? It's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this one.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support encourages me to create more content. Thank you.